everybody. I declare the meeting open at 6 p.m. This ordinary council meeting will be video recorded and recordings published on the Shire of Dundas website. The Shire of Dundas recognises the Nudgee and Mirning as traditional custodians in the Shire of Dundas and pay our respects to their elders past and present. We have nobody attending by electronic means. Item 2, declarations of interest. Do we have any financial interest?
Yes.
2.5.
2.5. Anyone else?
10.3.4.
Okay, thank you. Any proximity interest? Partiality? Any gifts?
Yes, I got $150 hamper.
Cancel down. We are all here. And no apologies, we do have a large public gathering this evening. Item 4, do we have any applications for leave of absence? We have no response to public questions taken on notice. Item 6, public question time.
Hi councillors, Darlene Robertson here. I have 2 questions tonight. Firstly, I just wanted an update on what's going on with the mosquito problem that we were told that was going to be addressed as of the 1st of November. To this point, it doesn't seem like it has been.
Yep.
So, if you've noticed, we've slashed quite a number of blocks, and that's where the mosquitoes are. We've gone into yards that doesn't belong to council. We've gone and checked drains. There's still some houses that we have to do.
Okay, so last time you mentioned that you put pellets or something
Yeah,
out?
the pellets has gone in Tindam.
What's that, mate?
The pellets for the mosquitoes.
Yes, they're in.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, thank you. Second matter I want to address is, I know all of you councillors received a letter. I'd like to read it to everybody. I'm the representative of a number of our ratepayers that have had this discussion together.
Sorry, Raylene, you just need to ask a question.
Okay, the letter I sent you has not been put on the agenda, and it was sent to every councillor here so that one of you would act on the ratepayers' behalf. Could you please put that in the agenda and discuss that and act on it?
The letter wasn't received by every councillor.
It was sent to every councillor
Well, I
by
haven't got
mail.
one. I haven't got one, and there won't be any letters put on agendas that don't have any contact details on them. So, what are we supposed to do with it?
The
There's
reason
no
that
contact
there was no
details.
contact information on that is because it is a neighbourly thing. We didn't want there to be disputes between neighbours, so that is why we took it to our councillors to act on our behalf as ratepayers and you as our councillors bringing it to the council.
So writing a letter doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get a letter put on the agenda. It's not actually an agenda item, and a letter that is anonymous will never get put on the agenda because we don't know who to respond to. Who do we respond to? So it's not going to happen that way. So
Okay.
what you need to do is contact myself or another councillor and request that, or let us know that there's an issue. We might be able to address it there and then. Otherwise, you request that the councillor puts forward a notice of motion. So it would have to be done quite a ways in advance of the next council meeting so that a proper report can be done, because you don't just table a letter. There has to be an officer's report so that we can consider what all of the ramifications of anything are.
Okay, so this was done in advance, and I know that Doug Batty actually took it to councillor Holman.
Bits, can I just answer to that? Yes, when he said I would like this to stay anonymous with that. So yes, I received that letter like that.
But you knew who it was,
But
so you discussed
So
it.
what am I supposed to do then, really?
Councillor Holman. It doesn't work that way, I'm afraid, Raylene. It won't go onto a council agenda without a proper report. So you either need to contact a councillor to have a proper agenda item proposed. We have a section at the back of our meeting every time elected members' motions that have been given on notice. That's the proper way to do it. An anonymous letter is never going to be responded to, because who do we respond to?
Okay, so now you know it's not an anonymous.
So it's
It
still
was
not going
myself
to be.
and quite a few other people. However, I would like one of you councillors to please put it on the agenda so it can be addressed.
So you need to contact the councillor and advise them of what you would like addressed, and then that councillor will have to come and see the CEO, and then a report will be prepared for council. We don't have another council meeting now until February. So
That's okay.
they
A copy
have-
has also been sent to the inspectorate, but thank you very much for your help.
Well, we're just following the proper procedures. We can't just table random letters at council meetings. This is a formal process of the council. I think most of you think it's a bit of a joke. It's not. This is a formal process of your local government, and we are bound by legislation and rules and regulations as to how we have to operate. And writing a random anonymous letter that went to all the councillors, except myself, I have to say, I didn't get one.
So yours went to the post office box for the Shire, because we don't know what yours is, it's not published.
Regardless, a random anonymous letter will not appear on any agenda. Full stop. It won't happen, because that's not the way the process works. There is a process. You can check with the inspectorate if you like, and he will inform you of the proper process. There is a proper process. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got a few questions. The media statement that was issued on the 1st of December, just wonder why council allowed it to go ahead when there's a lot of things in there that were untrue. I'd like to see the numerous public complaints and formal correspondence, and the fire risk and public safety, and the unmanaged vegetation at the Norseman Golf Club. The Shire have to go out and take essential to protect the wider community. So they went out and they mowed two of the fairways, the two that coincidentally are for the Nullarbor links. They never let us know that the golf club mowed the other 16 to mitigate the fire risk. And then they've come on to community exclusion. They're saying that the golf club has discouraged access to the grounds and the club by locals and tourists alike. That's false. Breaches of a conduct. Person who claims to have management of the club has repeatedly engaged in harassing and inappropriate behaviour towards Shire staff, and we've received complaints from concerned residents and visitors trying to access this location, including Golf WA. Now I've contacted Golf WA and they received nothing. I've never seen a complaint. And then it goes on to reputational damage, because the club's actions have damaged the Shire's relationship with the Nullarbor links. We asked for assistance on at least 2 occasions and we were denied because of the process of local government. It says it's unsafe conditions. We go out and use it every Saturday. And
Sorry, Mark, do you have a question?
well, someone's telling lies in here, I want to know why. And there's no justification. It says here, the listed golf club members are non-residents of Norseman, making community collaboration and support difficult to provide. I've been a member of...
So you're one member?
We have 6 members in Norseman who live here.
Yep.
And I said the same to you in that public interview you did on the radio where you said there was none. And that's untrue. So how can you just get on there and say something that's untrue? There's no justification behind it.
So you didn't say anything in your interview that was untrue?
No.
Oh, so you've cleaned all the rubbish away and it's gone into our landfill?
Yes.
When did you do that?
It was in November 2021 or 2020.
So if we went out there and dug in those holes, there wouldn't be any rubbish there?
You might find some bodies.
Right.
No rubbish there.
Okay.
And also, this is one question I need to ask about the, everything's got to be by the book. June 2024, Mr Barbara Archer gifted a leather land sweep to the Shire of Dundas in exchange for council workers to clean up her property. One in Simon Street and one in Ango. I've looked at all the records and there's no gift on the register of that leather land sweep. So where'd it go? There's no recordings of public works carried out at them properties.
You want to go that one first?
The leather line suite is not a gift to anybody, it's a gift to the council as a whole. It goes into a council house for staff to use. So it's not given to myself or a person. It was a gift, and Barbara Archer was charged for all the work we did. We've got the invoices.
And she gifted it to the Shire.
Yeah.
There was nothing in
So-
the gifts.
So
Because it's not gifted to a particular councillor or
it's staff
staff
member.
member.
It's gifted to
To
the Shire.
Oh, so we ended up with it
It's in the council house.
Right.
in
Yeah.
the council house
Yes.
at 36 Ango.
No, Mildura.
Oh, Mildura Street.
Yep.
That'd be your property.
No, I don't live in Mildura.
No? Who lives in Mildura?
My staff, I've got staff living in Mildura.
Oh, yeah.
The doctor's house.
Oh, the doctor's house, of course. Yep. But I thought it had to be written down.
The doctor's house where the doctor doesn't live, is that correct?
It's a staff house, by the way, not a doctor's house.
All I want is a copy of all the complaints
100%.
from
I've got the
Gulf
list
WA
through the chair.
public
This will be responded to in writing.
So,
in
we can,
email.
we can respond to that.
Yep.
Yep, fine. Anybody else?
Yep. Bonnie Vixensoni, 20 Fuller Street. You wrote a letter, you sent an email on the 11th of November to the school. Is this email written by you as a Shire President, as a P&C member, a representative of the Shire Council member, which you allude in your email?
It's written by me as the Shire President and as a member of the PNC.
You mentioned other people's other names in it. Are you speaking on their behalf, or have you?
What other name?
That's I'll send you a copy and you can sort it out.
So
Actually,
what's,
you don't have to, because you've already got it, because you sent it, didn't you?
what's your question?
Were you, is that email on your behalf as a Shire President?
Yes, I'm addressing inappropriate behaviour from a member of the school council.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Do you think it was appropriate?
That's your opinion, but,
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to ask, can I get a copy of the invoices sent to Miss Archer, please?
That's not really information that you get, it's her private information. Do we send your invoices to anybody else?
I think you might do, I don't know.
No, we don't. Anybody else? No? Thank you. We'll move on. Item 7. Confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. Councillor Brown, thank you. Second. Councillor Warner, thank you. Anybody have any amendments? Happy? We have a recommendation that the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on the 18th of November 2025 be confirmed as a true and accurate record. Those in favour? Thank you. Right. Something pleasant to do now. Yeah. We have 2 citizenship surveys for Daniel and for Jean. Australian citizenship represents commitment to Australia and its people, the values we share and our common future. Since the first Australian citizenship ceremony was hosted in 1949, more than 4.5 million people have chosen to become Australian citizens. Becoming an Australian citizen is a major decision involving commitment, responsibility and public recognition. We congratulate Daniel and Jean on their decision to become an Australian citizen and recognise their contributions to the Norseman community. Existing Australian citizens are also encouraged to publicly affirm their loyalty and commitment to Australia by participating in an Australian citizenship affirmation ceremony. The affirmation is based on the pledge of commitment made by new citizens and gives those who are already Australians the same opportunity to declare their pride and commitment to our nation. The Minister for Home Affairs, Immigration and Citizenship, Cyber Security, Arts and Leader of the House is the Honourable Tony Burke, and he has produced a statement. In a few moments' time, Australia becomes an even better nation. When you make the citizenship pledge, you take on privileges and responsibilities of Australian citizenship. From that moment, your journey and heritage will become part of our shared Australian story. We are privileged to share this beautiful country with First Nations Australians, the custodians of the world's oldest continuing culture. Appreciating and understanding this truth is a vital part of what it means to be Australian. Australia welcomes you as a full member of one of the most diverse nations on earth, where our citizenship is a bond which unites us all. Australia welcomes you and everything you bring to Australia. Today, your new nation says to you, welcome home. Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia, and Australian citizenship is a common bond involving reciprocal rights and obligations, uniting all Australians while respecting their diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations. By pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, by sharing their democratic beliefs, by respecting their rights and liberties, and by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. So I invite Daniel and Jean to come up. Going opposite the ladies first. So Daniel, you just need to repeat after me.
I'll do my best.
From this time forward,
From this time forward,
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people,
I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
and whose laws I will uphold and obey.
and whose laws I will uphold and obey.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have you got?
Oh, thank you.
Citizenship certificate. Congratulations. Well done.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So you need to also repeat after me. From this time forward,
From this time forward,
I pledge my loyalty
I pledge my loyalty
to Australia and its people,
to Australia and its people,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose democratic beliefs I share,
whose rights and liberties I respect,
right and liberty and respect,
and whose laws I will uphold and obey.
and who law I will uphold and obey.
Congratulations. Everybody on the little leaflets on the seats is the affirmation. We just invite everybody to join in with that. As an Australian citizen, I affirm my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I uphold and obey. I'd like to have everyone up standing for the national anthem, please.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea.
Lots of photos, we can do that. And if anybody's not staying for the rest of the meeting, if you could just. Thanks.
Great job. Get a group photo first. Yeah. You're gonna get in there and I'll put down your racket. Oh no.
No to Hagburn.
Oh wait, no, right?
Judy Tasman.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so then you pop out and then you pop over. Yeah,
You're in the middle, Jean. Yay. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
So excited.
Cool. Congratulations.
So lovely, well done.
You're gonna send a certificate. Thank you.
Sorry guys, just I'll send it through. Beautiful, right, that's me.
Can we get one of Daniel just with the kangaroo, maybe?
Yes. Where's the kangaroo?
Yeah, he'll send that later.
So come on, one of you with the kangaroo.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. You glad we did listen, all right?
That's right, you can pay out every time.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thank you.
Lovely guys.
Right, gonna carry on. Reports of committees. GROC. GROC meeting was held on the 28th of November to consider the State Council agenda, and the next GROC meeting will be held on the 30th of January 2026 to be hosted by City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. Item 8.2.2, Walga. So the Walga State Council meeting was held on Wednesday the 3rd of December. Following the local government elections in October, we reappoint members to the State Council. This year we've welcomed 9 new State Councillors, with 3 having previously served as Deputy State Councillors and 1 having been a former State Councillor returning. Since the last State Council meeting, we have considered 6 matters by flying minute, including community benefits of renewable energy projects, communications agreements, amendments to the draft planning manual, reforms of the Working with Children checks, community use of public school facilities, and an inquiry into the national cultural policy. At the December meeting, we considered the 2025 AGM meeting resolutions, which will now go to the relevant policy teams to formulate a position. The requirement for all electoral material to include the candidates' address details on the authorisation statements, and an emerging issue around the state government's push for high density development around railway station precincts. Prior to the State Council meeting, we had a strategic forum during which we had an update from DPIRD about the polyphased shot hole borer. It appears that now this issue has moved on from being about eradication to management. The quarantine area has expanded and is now in 2 zones, a management zone and a containment zone. Whilst the trees will still be removed in the containment zone, it's no longer mandatory to remove infested trees in the management zone, so you can imagine what's going to happen there. Movement restrictions are being imposed on firewood, green waste, mulch and plant material. It's proposed that trees will be managed by private landholders. Some online training will be available. $2.5 million will be provided to local governments for transition to self-management and 7.2 million for replacement of trees. In relation to local government electoral reform, it's expected that a period of consultation will be undertaken in the first quarter of 2026 in line with other jurisdictions. The state government is considering a 4-year full spill with compulsory voting. WA government priorities are jobs, diversifying the economy, housing, everyone has a home, health, everyone has access to healthcare, community should be safe and inclusive, and we should have access to high quality infrastructure and services. The Department of Local Government is focusing on the new inspector and compliance, support capability, policy and reform, election commitments and delivery of grants and financial policy statutory approvals. LGIS continues to perform well and provide good value to members. LGIS is a mutual indemnity business to which all 139 local governments in WA belong. As a mutual, it's not subject to the same vulnerabilities as insurance companies. The next State Council meeting will be held on the 4th of March 2026, at which we'll elect a new Wagga President and Deputy President. The current incumbents, Karen Chappell and Paul Kelly, have served their allowable terms. 8.2.3, the Regional Road Group. The Regional Road Group meeting was held in Kalgoorlie the 21st of November, at which a new chair was elected. President Councillor Paul Warner of Menzies was elected to the role. Ian Duncan from Wagga provided an overview of the role of regional road groups and their context within the State Road Funds to Local Government Agreement. The basis of forming regional road groups was for regions to develop and recommend programs for roadworks and prioritisation method for distribution of the funding. A multi-criteria assessment is developed by each region, which should be designed to enable transparent and consistent decisions on projects based on data and local regional road group policies. The MCA is referred to the State Advisory for Local Roads Funding Council, which is generally referred to as SAC, for approval and advice on procedures for acquitting funding. Our regional road group is currently non-compliant with the MCA, and it wasn't addressed at the meeting, so some work still to be done in that space. Technical Working Group, which is an advisory group to the Regional Road Group, requires a new chair, and a meeting of that group will be scheduled for late February, early March 2026. 8.2.4, Roadwise. We had a visit from Linda Parsons from the Wagga Roadwise team on the 19th of November. Do you have a report for that, Councillor McLeod?
No.
Item 8.2.5 is the LEMAC. We had a LEMAC meeting on Wednesday the 19th of November. Do you have a report for that, Councillor Brown?
I wasn't there.
You are the chair of that committee, are you not?
Did you make a report at all?
I didn't make a report, I took my own notes only because I'm
Did you make a
first time.
report?
I have. The LEMAC meeting was held on the 19th of November 2025. We received some correspondence from Marion Massam, the Ben Sign Program Coordinator with DPIRD, in relation to the installation of the Ben signs in various locations. Ben are beach emergency numbers used to assist in the rapid deployment to the correct location of emergency response in the event of an emergency such as a shark attack or the like. The committee noted the ongoing unfunded statutory obligations on local governments under the State Hazard Plan Fire. It was recommended that Dundas raise this issue through the GVROC and request dedicated funding streams for training, clarification and funding responsibility for UCL, unallocated Crown land, native title land and etc. Reform to the ESL distribution, state contributions in lieu of rates for Crown land, and DFIS and State Emergency Management Committee guide audit expectation and compliance evidence under the plan for local governments with limited capacity. This matter was raised at the GVROC and a letter has been forwarded to Wagga requesting assistance in this matter. Agency reports of note, DFIS has undertaken a range of exercises to prepare for the high threat season. Slashing of UCL blocks was to commence on the 17th of November in town, which it did. DFIS also offered congratulations to the Shire of Dundas for the Volunteer Employer Recognition Award that we received in recognition of the support provided to employees who form our Volunteer Fire and Rescue Brigade in responding to incidents during work hours. A District Emergency Management Committee annual forum was held in Kalgoorlie in October, giving the opportunity for agencies to discuss roles, responsibilities and capacity within the state emergency management framework. Waypole Norseman are understaffed, a vacancy to be filled as of today, and full crew back in January 2026. The Euclid nursing post has some concerns around staffing for ambulances. As an interim measure, a patient care assistant will be deployed to work full-time in the clinic and be on call for ambulance driving when required. This will be finalised in January 26. Norseman Hospital is having ongoing staff issues, fire breaks have been upgraded, and a bushfire drill they were going to do in December. The UCLA Volunteer Fire and Rescue Service had a couple of questions in relation to the fire rating signs, which have deteriorated considerably since their installation, and how DFES is made aware of people with fire permits. The UCLA was advised that signs have been ordered, new signs have been ordered, and that it is the responsibility of the permit holder to notify the DFES Communications Centre. Pantoro are continuing to grow numbers of workers on site, and the emergency response team is averaging about 40 members. They've recently conducted an emergency management audit on site. Waypole UCLA have updated all their local plans. They also questioned whether the proposed Shire employee to be based in UCLA might be able to assist with filling gaps with emergency services personnel. Main Roads WA have received funding approval of $13 million for the Mundrabilla Road Train Assembly Area, which should commence 2026. They've also received approval to introduce reduced speed zones along the air highway at Roadhouse entry-exit points. Shire of Dundas is preparing for holiday closures when a skeleton crew will be on call, and the next LEMAC meeting is scheduled for the 18th of February 2026. Announcements by the presiding member, who's me. Yes, I have an announcement. I will be starting a little program of community morning tea.
Merry Christmas all.
Thanks, Des. So if anybody has any grievances that they'd like to air that they can't manage at a council meeting in the formal setting, I will set myself up in the Woodland Centre. Haven't proposed a date yet, won't be before Christmas, but early New Year, we'll see once the Woodland Centre's open again, and we will advertise that.
I'll be happy to see you this week.
Item 10.1, Planning Development. 10.1.1, proposed lease of Crown land for the purpose of horse paddocking. Our recommendation is on page 10.
I'll move that recommendation. I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any dissent to that recommendation? Would you like to speak to it, Councillor Hall?
No.
Councillor McLeod?
Thank you.
And we have a recommendation that Council advise the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage and Ms Walker that 1, it has no objection to the leasing of lot 228 on deposited plan 186427 Coolgardie Esperance Highway, Norseman, for the purpose of horse paddocking. 2, it recommends that the lot boundaries be re-fenced as a condition of the lease. And 3, development approval pursuant to the Planning and Development Local Planning Schemes Regulations 2015 is required to be sought and obtained prior to the use of the land for horse paddocking commencing. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 10.2.1, the financial statements for the period ending 30th of November 2025.
I'll move that.
Councillor McLeod, thank you. One second.
I'll second that.
Councillor Warner, thank you. We haven't got any red spots still.
Doing well.
Doing well. Anybody have any questions on the financial statement? We have a recommendation that the Shire of Dundas financial statements for the period ending the 30th of November 2025 be accepted. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 10.2.2, the accounts paid the 1st of the 10th 25 to the 31st of the 10th 25. The recommendation is on page 25.
I'll move that recommendation.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Councillor McLeod, thank you. Any questions? Have the recommendation that the Shire of Dundas monthly accounts paid from the 1st of the 10th 2025 to the 31st of the 10th 2025 be noted. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 10.2.3, the accounts paid the 1st of the 11th 2025 to the 30th of the 11th 2025. That recommendation is on page 35. Thank you. One second.
I'll second that one.
Councillor Warner, thank you. Any questions on that one? Have a recommendation that the Shire of Dundas monthly accounts paid from the 1st of the 11th 2025 to the 30th of the 11th 2025 be noted. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 10.2.4, receive the information bulletin. Recommendation is on page 36.
I'll move it.
Okay. One second.
I'll second that.
Councillor Brown, thank you. Have a recommendation that the council receive the monthly council's information bulletin for the period ending the 9th of December 2025. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 10.2.5, delegation to the Shire of Dundas Audit and Risk Committee. Recommendation is on page 37.
I'll move it.
McLeod. Second. Thank you. Would you like to speak to that, Councillor McLeod?
Nothing.
Councillor Brown?
No.
Any dissent? We have a recommendation that council endorse the Shire of Dundas Audit and Risk Committee terms of reference and delegations as set out in points 1, 2 and 3. Point 1, the Audit and Risk Committee's role in accordance with Regulation 16 of the Local Government Audit Regulations 1996 is to aid, guide and assist the local government in carrying out 1, its functions under Part 6 of the Act, 2, its functions relating to other audits and other matters related to financial management, and B, functions in relation to audits conducted under Part 7 of the Act, C, review a report given to it by the CEO under Regulation 17.3, the CEO's report, and is to 1, report to the council the results of that review, and 2, give a copy of the CEO's report to the council. C, monitor and advise the CEO when the CEO is carrying out functions in relation to a review under 1, Regulation 17.1, and 2, the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, Regulation 5.2c. D, support the auditor of the local government to conduct an audit and carry out the auditor's other duties under the Act in respect of the local government. E, oversee the implementation of any action that the local government, 1, is required to take by Section 7.1.2a3, and 2, has stated it has taken or intends to take in a report prepared under Section 7.1.2a4a. And 3, has accepted, should be taken following receipt of a report of a review conducted under Regulation 17.1. And 4, has accepted, should be taken following receipt of a report of a review conducted under the Local Government Financial Management Regulations 1996, Regulation 5.2c. And F, perform any other function conferred on the Audit Committee by these regulations or another written law. 2, the committee may provide guidance and assistance to the local government regarding A, other matters to be audited, B, the scope of the audits, and C, financial risk and compliance management functions as prescribed in the Local Government Act 1995, as well as D, other matters specified in these terms of reference. 3, the committee may resolve to request the Chief Executive Officer to provide any information or make arrangements to provide independent expert advice as appropriate and required by the committee in order to fulfil its duties and responsibilities. 4, the committee is to review and make recommendations to the council regarding A, financial management, the annual financial statements with a view to being satisfied as to their accuracy and timeliness and the inclusion of prescribed disclosures and information. 2, changes in accounting practices, policies and material changes in accounting treatment, and 3, the Shire's financial status and performance. B, risk management. 1, the Shire's risk management strategies and policies. 2, the adequacy of the Shire's risk management systems and practices. And 3, the management of strategic risks, identifying as appropriate specific risks for more detailed review and response. 3, C, internal controls. 1, the standard and effectiveness of the Shire's corporate governance and ethical considerations. 2, the integrity, adequacy and effectiveness of the Shire's financial and administration policies, systems and controls in providing financial and governance information which is accurate and reliable, complies with legislative obligations and requirements, and minimises the risk of error, fraud, misconduct or corruption. And 3, the efficiency and effectiveness on achievement of objectives. D, legislative compliance. 1, the integrity, adequacy and effectiveness of the Shire's systems and controls for legislative compliance. 2, the level of compliance with legislative obligations as well as the Shire's policies. 3, the CEO's report on the review of the Shire's legislative compliance systems at least once triennially. And 4, the annual statutory compliance audit. E, external audit planning and reporting. 2, the integrity, adequacy and effectiveness of the Shire's external audit plan. 3, reports, findings and recommendations arising from external audits. 4, the audit of the Shire's annual financial statements. 5, the integrity, adequacy and effectiveness of the management response and any actions proposed to be taken to address issues raised by the external auditor. And 6, the oversight and monitoring of implementation of agreed actions. Those in favour? Thank you. Thank God for that. Item 10.2.6, review of the register of delegations. Recommendation is on page 42. And second?
I'll second that.
Councillor Brown. Is there any dissent to that recommendation? So we have a recommendation that council adopt by absolute majority the delegations from council to the CEO within the attached register of delegations, appendix 3. 2, note the delegations by the CEO to other officers as included under on delegated 2 within the attached register of delegations, appendix 3. Note the CEO will update the sub-delegations to other officers as required and appropriate. And 4, approve for the CEO to update the register version control numbering and appropriate sub-delegations as required. There being no dissent, that is carried along unanimously. Item 10.2.7, review of policy HR5, acting chief executive officer, acting in senior positions policy. Recommendation is on page 44.
I'll move it.
Councillor McLeod, second.
Yep.
Councillor Fleming, thank you. Any dissent to that one? We have a recommendation that council adopt by absolute majority the revised policy HR5, appointment of acting chief executive officer policy as attached to this report, appendix 4. There being no dissent, is also carried unanimously. Item 10.2.8, review of policy EM1, conference and ongoing council member professional development. Application. Recommendation is on page 46.
I'll move that.
I'll second that.
Councillor Brown, thank you. Any dissent to that one? Okay. We have a recommendation that council adopt by absolute majority revised policy EM1, conferences and ongoing council member professional development as attached to this report, appendix 5. There being no dissent, that is carried unanimously. Item 10.2.9, new policy EM7, attendance at events. Recommendation on page 48.
I'll move it. Appointed.
And second?
Yes.
Councillor Brown, thank you. Any dissent? Everybody happy? We have a recommendation that council adopt by absolute majority new policy EM7, attendance at events policy as attached to this report, appendix 6. There being no dissent, it is also carried unanimously. Item 10.2.10, the review of policy HR19, senior employees policy. That recommendation is on page 50.
I'll move that recommendation.
Councillor Warner, thank you.
I'll second that.
Councillor Brown. Any dissent to that one? We have a recommendation that council adopt revised policy HR19, senior employees policy as attached to this report, appendix 7. There being no dissent, that is carried unanimously. Item 10.2.11, Norseman Community Resource Centre financial statements for the period ending the 31st of October 25. Recommendation is on page 53.
I'll move that recommendation.
Councillor Warner, thank you.
I'll second it.
Councillor Holman, thank you. Anything to add to that, Deputy CEO?
No, and you'll see an item coming up, the CRC's really an essential role in the community and tracking along well, so.
Yep, thank you. Any dissent to that recommendation? No. We have a recommendation that the Norseman Community Resource Centre financial statements for the period ended the 31st of October 2025 be accepted. There being no dissent, that is carried. Item 10.2.12, the Norseman Community Resource Centre financial statements for the period ending the 30th of November 2025. Recommendation is on the bottom of page 56.
I'll move.
One second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Councillor Holman, thank you. Any dissent to that one? We have a recommendation that the Norseman Community Resource Centre financial statements for the period ending the 30th of November 2025 be accepted. There being no dissent, that is carried. Item 10.2.13, Norseman Community Resource Centre annual report. Recommendation is on page 58.
I'll move that recommendation.
Thank you. And second,
Yep, I'll second that.
Councillor Holman, thank you. Anything to add to that annual report?
I'd just like to congratulate the team and council for the support. They do hold a lot of our community events and partner with a number of other community organisations, with businesses in town and government departments as well. So good to see that engagement from both visitors in town and local residents. It's an essential service and one that brings a lot of benefits to not only Norseman residents but those travelling through as well.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions on that one? We have a recommendation that council endorse the Norseman Community Resource Centre annual report 2024-25. Those in favour? Thank you. Carried. 10.2.14, acceptance of the 2024-25 independent auditors report. Recommendation is on page 61.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Councillor Brown. Councillor Brown. Is there any dissent to that? We have a recommendation that the audited annual financial report for the year ended the 30th of June 2025 be received. 2, the independent auditor's report for the year ended the 30th of June 2025 be received. And 3, the audit management letter be received. There being no dissent, that is carried. We have a confidential item. Have somebody move that we proceed behind closed doors. And second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Councillor Brown. Those in favour? Thank you. Sorry, galleries, they're ours. Okay, so we have a resolution that Council 1 notes that Mr Peter Fitchett's annual performance review as the Shire of Hunter's Chief Executive Officer for the period September 2024 to November 2025 has been undertaken. 2, endorses the overall rating of meets performance requirements. 3, schedules the next annual review of the CEO's performance to be completed by the 30th of September 2026. 4, endorses the performance criteria for the 2025 annual performance review. And 5, endorses an increase of 4% to Mr Fitchett's total reward package, $221,890 per annum, base salary of $172,116 per annum, effective from the 1st of July 2025 in accordance with the terms of the contract between Mr Fitchett and the Council and within the requirements of the salaries and allowances determination of 4th of April 2025. That was carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Item 10.2.16, the rescindment of the 29th of July 2025 Ordinary Council meeting resolution 10.3.2, support for B Central Unit deployment and assistance along the air highway. Recommendation is on page 64.
I'll move it.
Councillor Brown, thank you. Second. Councillor Wheeler, thank you. Would you like to speak to that, Councillor Pratt?
Thank you.
Councillor Ward?
I don't think we needed to rescind that.
Yes, it was due to the fact that the goalposts moved slightly. So it will in fact be a cost to the council. So that's the reason for that. Would anybody like to speak to that?
On the bee century, yeah, I think it's a shame. If you have somebody that wants to do it in his own time, and actually, as I just now understand, has 2 allowances that he can use and he doesn't, and wants to do something for biosecurity, I think something that is very important in Western Australia. Yeah, it's a shame, but that's it.
Yep, anybody else? I think it's also worthy of mention that state biosecurity is a state government responsibility, which they've dropped the ball on again.
Yep.
They did the same with the polyphagous shot hole borer, and look at the state we're in with that. And now you don't even, they're just letting it go so that you don't even have to remove the trees, so where's that going to end? It is unfortunate. Hopefully they will get their act together and identify some funding to assist, and if that is the case, then we'll jump straight back in. But at the moment it's slightly onerous because of those various things which are mentioned in here, so it's not happening. We have a recommendation that Council rescind 10.3.2 support for Bee Central Unit deployment and assistance along the Air Highway, resolution made at the 29th of July 2025 Ordinary Council meeting. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 10.3.1, Officers' Reports. Recommendation on page 65. Councillor McLeod, thank you.
Second.
Councillor Fleming, thank you. Now then, officers, have you got anything to add?
No.
I would just like to say the team, they don't get to sit around the table and interact with you in the formal council meeting, but the whole team contribute to the outcomes for the CRC, the youth services, Baz's team. They might not be doing youth activities, but they support the maintenance and things like that. And it's the same with the supermarket, doesn't do a report, but the community service they offer. So for the whole team, I know that I speak on behalf of all of our the senior officers. We're proud of the staff, and we know that they have a passion for Norseman and seeing great outcomes. So thank you, councillors, for your support.
Thank you.
If I may, through the chair, I'd also like the elected members to support the staff and the community a bit better. I want that noted as well.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to that, Councillor McLeod? No? Councillor Fleming? Anybody like to speak against it? Okay, we have a recommendation that the Shire of Dundas Council receive the Works and Services, Youth and Recreation Services and Woodlands Cultural Community and Visitor Centre reports as contained in papers related. Thank you. Item 10.3.2, Lottery West Agency Expression of Interest Submission. Recommendation is on page 67. I'll move that recommendation. Councillor Warner.
I'll second that.
Councillor Holman. Any dissent to that one? We have a recommendation that Council notes the formal expression of interest for a Lottery West Agency outlet in Norseman has been submitted by the Shire of Dundas on 8th of December 2025. 2. The EOI process included public advertisement for community participation with submissions closing 25th of November 2025. 3. The Shire's formal application and fee have been accepted and will now be assessed by Lottery West. And 4. A further report will be brought to Council if the application progresses to approval stage to consider formal acceptance and establishment of the agency. With no dissent, so that is carried. Out of idle curiosity, do you know if anybody else put in a... Okay. Item 10.3.3, the lease extension for 81 Robert Street, Norseman. Recommendation on page 69. Councillor McLeod, thank you. And second.
Yep, I'll second that.
Councillor Holman, thank you. Is there any dissent to that recommendation? No. We have a recommendation that the Council of the Shire of Dundas 1 grant authority to the Shire President and the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a further 6 month lease agreement for the premises located at 81 Robert Street, Norseman, with the building to continue being made available for local community organisations. And 2, authorise the Shire President and the Chief Executive Officer to affix the common seal of the Shire of Dundas to the lease agreement and to execute all documentation required to give effect to this decision. There being no dissent, that is carried. Item 10.3.4, Pensioner Housing Expansion Program Stage 2. Recommendation is on page 73.
I'll move that recommendation.
Any dissent to that recommendation? We have a recommendation that Council 1 supports in principle the development of a staged pensioner housing expansion program based on the Outback Oasis kit home design with veranda and carport to address the current and forecast shortage of age-appropriate accommodation within the Shire of Dundas. 2, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to actively pursue all available state and Commonwealth funding opportunities, including but not limited to the Housing Australia Future Fund, the Housing Support Program, Regional Housing Initiatives, Affordable Housing Grants, and any other funding or partnership programs that may assist with the delivery of pensioner housing. 3, approves the preparation and submission of grant applications, expression of interest, business cases and supporting documentation as required to secure external funding for the staged construction pensioner housing units. And 4, requests the Chief Executive Officer to report back to Council on the outcomes of all funding applications, partnership discussions and feasibility considerations, including financial implications and staging options prior to the inclusion of project components in future budgets. And 5, notes that the progression of the pensioner housing expansion program remains subject to successful funding, council budget adoption and compliance with statutory and policy requirements. There being no dissent, that is also carried. Just before we finish, I missed a bit. Just when we had a Dundas Economic Development Working Group meeting yesterday. We met at the Nova IGO site to tour the site and discuss the mine closure plan. There are potentially some reuse opportunities which may arise with some of the infrastructure at the site, and discussions will be ongoing in this space. The closure plan is still in the study phase and will need to be submitted to the Department of Mines, Petroleum and Exploration. They are formulating a strategy about who to engage and how any distribution of assets will occur. And we also heard from Adrian Gunaratne from the Education Department in relation to school-based traineeships. So we, the Shire, currently do employ some of our student cohort, and we are exploring the relative legislation and HR requirements to enable us to offer more pathways to meaningful qualifications. The idea behind the programs is to keep locals local. The Central Regional TAFE has visited the school, and they are looking at the possibility of providing Cert 2 hospitality and resource and infrastructure programs to be delivered at the school. Westgold is very keen to explore possibilities in this space, although there are some issues with having school-aged children on mine sites in relation to actually getting them on site, supervision requirements, and the fact that under 18s are not permitted on the ground. So there's a little bit of work, a few bucks to iron out there, but they're keen. Item 11, elect the members' motions, of which previously has been given. There are none. We have no late items. Our next ordinary meeting of council is scheduled to be held on the 17th of February 2026 at 6 p.m. in Norseman. I'd like to wish everybody Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in February. I'm sure we'll see each other in between times because something will happen, and I'll be back around the table. We have no further business, so I'll declare the meeting closed at 7.